Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are. And disaster if you are a games fan or video games fan. This is a disaster because Microsoft is bought or buying Activision for $70 billion. And you can forget about the antitrust lawyers coming in and going, no, this is bad. No, you can't have a monopoly because that doesn't exist in America. The only time the antitrust laws kick in are when a large corporation wants to buy a small company and smaller companies also competing with a large corporation. Then the laws will just be like, well, you small corporation can't buy that because antitrust, but we'll allow this big company to buy it because they pay us. So screw you kind of thing. So this is yet another big studio acquired by Microsoft. They bought Bethesda. They bought a couple of other smaller. They went out and prior to the launch of the current Xbox console, they went out and bought a shitload of small studios as well. And when they bought Bethesda, my brain straight away said, Microsoft are going to aggressively buy all the big companies because they're looking to completely get rid of consoles in general because they're loss makers and just focus on going online. 25 million people now own the Xbox Game Pass. With the acquisition of Activision, that is going to grow even more, and it continues to grow every year because people love it. The variety and choice of games that they get at their disposal for a monthly subscription. It's not a bad thing, But now, with Microsoft, they have the infrastructure to go full-on cloud gaming. Now, once they go to cloud gaming, Xbox is done. I mean, I predict this is going to be the last Xbox console you will ever see. Now, where does this leave Sony? Because this isn't the end for Microsoft's acquisition of companies. I still reckon they're going to end up buying Take-Two Interactive and possibly EA. We know there were rumors a couple of years back that those two companies were up for sale, and at one point Sony contemplated buying Take-Two Interactive. But the likeliest scenario is that Microsoft will buy it, or hopefully both EA and Take-Two do not sell to the large console companies. Because these kind of monopolies they're not good for the games industry. Like, for those of you that are unaware, okay, take it from me. I live in England, alright? The British game industry in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s was the best in the world in terms of the volume of games put out, the variety of games put out, the innovation, and all of that. They were second to none. Japan's always had the same old box standard hack and slash games that people love, but they just haven't changed since the PlayStation 1 era. They just got better graphics and all of that. And the US was more like action RPG oriented, all of this. Whereas in Britain it was like anything goes, they just built anything goes. It was all these amazing companies like, even Peter Molyneux before he became a dickhead with Bullfrog Studios, and then I think it became Lionheart Studios. You had Psygnosis, you had Ocean Games, you had US Gold, you had Raven Studios, you had Rockstar Games, used to be British. All these amazing companies. Codemasters recently was bloody bought by EA, I believe, as well. And then they were all swallowed up by the big US corporations and by Ubisoft as well. They were all swallowed up. And the level of variety of games disappeared, and you were just given like one of each thing. Like, here, there's your FIFA football. Pro Evo as well. But that's all you're gonna get. Your racing. Here's your fucking F1 and your rally and all of this. Your wrestling. Well, forget wrestling now. Wrestling is just one company, and And that's what happened. And it was a huge disaster. And it was devastating. And now, these big studios are now being bought up by these big giant games companies or corporations, and we're going to be left with nothing, like hardly any choice. You're just going to get, Microsoft will just be like, right, well, I'll tell you what, you just now make Call of Duty and Candy Crush and, go make World of Warcraft better, and that's it. That's all you're going to get from Activision Blizzard. Well, to be fair, that's all you pretty much got anyway. But I don't know, I'm rambling a bit because this industry is hanging on by a thread as it is. And now with like the consoles are gonna die out, and you're not gonna own your games. You're just gonna be paying a monthly subscription, and this kind of stuff needs to stop. It's not good. It's not good. You need variety. I don't know Activision deserve to fall because of the toxic work environment that they had with all the harassment lawsuits and all this, and Bobby Kotick being an absolute disgusting human being and greedy son of a bitch. But being acquired by a bigger game studio is just, no. I know. Take me back to the days where you had smaller studios making smaller games and you had variety. At the moment, what have you got? EA, Take-Two now, Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, and THQ Nordic. They're like the only big ones now left. And come to me in a couple of years' time and I'll be telling you there'll be Microsoft, Sony, and again, THQ Nordic and Ubisoft. And then they'll get bought up, and then you just have Microsoft, and then that's it. Goodbye variety. And then once they have the monopoly, they can do whatever they like, and they know you're going to pay for it because they just know that you're garbage who has a fear of missing out and will do anything to get a fix of some happiness. That is all. Let normality resume. Oh, God, I hate monopolies.